Hi, Professor. Okay, so this week we talked about advanced engagement, and I've been following a wide variety of community managers. One that is kind of based around brand imaging that I did my paper on last week. Another one who is a very close friend of mine and a community that I am involved with as sort of a hobby and an activist cause. And the last community manager is actually my boss, and he has taken over much of the social media controls at work. Um, and again, this is a community that not only am I involved with, but I have hands-on experience with. So I kind of wanted to look at a wide variety of community managers and their differences. So we're going to start off with a familiar name from last week, Margot. Um, and as you can see, it's still basically, she hasn't tweeted since May 24th. And that was one of the issues I addressed in my paper. And again, the reason why the paper was so Twitter focused is because I did do a Google search, and she's only on Twitter and Tumblr, and it looks like her Tumblr is just pictures of uploaded from her Instagram account. But anyway, in order to engage Margot, I did mention that she has a Twitter account. Um, Obviously, it's seldom used, and her Tumblr is only pictures, so I wouldn't go at it from a Tumblr angle, but I would certainly go at it from engaging her on Twitter. And in terms of the methods that we discussed, basically tweeting at her with compliments and then attempting to share content. And then the compliments, I would like to connect with her basically on a personal level before um, getting to share content with her on a business level, only for the reason that it looks like most of the content that she shares is personal. Um, and then hopefully what I would like to do is spur her to become a more active member of the brand community, by hopefully getting her to share more relevant brand content, um, and then asking her to pass it on to her followers. So here are some 5 posts that I did for her. Um, and again, I'm not going to attempt to pronounce her Twitter handle, but she tweets a lot about her dog. I also have a dog too, so something along the lines of, I feel like I'm a slave to my dog too. Where did you get Lucy from? Rescue community is huge in the dog lover world, so it does look like her dog is a mixed breed. I'm assuming it's a rescue. She also tweets a lot about the show, Top of the Lake on Netflix. I've never heard of it, so I'm kind of more interested to see, what it is. So how do you like Top of the Lake? And then finally, kind of getting her into what is your favorite part about Neo Ogilvy, and they're a brand imaging company that she does community management for, so again, breaking the ice. And then passing on a Forbes article about why brand imaging is important to small businesses. I did used to work for the chamber, and a lot of people talk about brand imaging for big business, big companies, but I think that it gets lost when it comes to small businesses. So just again, sharing content with her in hopes that I could become an influencer in her community. And then last tweet I came up with is a great small business that focuses on your personal brand. And I gave her the link for CG Imaging and Consulting, which is a local brand imaging company in Connecticut, and they work one-on-one with small businesses here, so it would be nice to give them recognition and maybe see if she can reach out to her followers, and then, who knows, those are how things are made viral, so just trying to get that off the ground. And again, my next community manager is Kay Toll. I mentioned her in my first paper for this class. She was formerly a community manager at Upworthy. She's now the community manager for GoldieBlocks, the small tech startup company out of California that goes over creating toys to encourage girls to become interested in STEM, aka science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. Um, and she's huge in the feminist community as well. She has her own feminist blog, very active in terms of writing and reaching out to women with eating disorders. She Also is an abortion escort, which means that on Saturday morning she gets up and she escorts women who are going to have an abortion to the abortion clinic, basically kind of as like, a hand to hold, walking past protesters and people who are pro-life. So, like I said, very involved in women's rights. Engaging, it's not going to really be a problem to engage with her because she's on Twitter, she's on Facebook, she's on Tumblr, she's on Instagram. Um, I would engage with her by sharing content and also asking questions because I feel like I can learn a lot from her. And who knows, I mean, she might be able to learn from me too, but I doubt it. I did notice, and you also pointed this out, is that Kay can sometimes be abrasive with her opinions, especially within her community. It can be seen as pushy and not shown in a positive light. So my ultimate goal, not to say that I could be one person to do this, but maybe spurring her to be more accepting of others' opinions in her community. And let's go over these posts. I also decided to include storytelling in here as well. So my first post is along with that this picture of me right here. Okay, whatever, more than just pink, and that's the slogan for GoldieBlox. And there's a picture of me as a little one with Batman painted on my face in the superhero position, and hopefully that's something that she could pass along to the GoldieBlox community. But I just thought it was a good way to tell a story, and I thought it was funny and relevant. Another thing is that with the passing of Maya Angelou just last week, Kay's been kind of on a roll with posting things about her and writing how influential she was. So getting her to reach out by answering what her favorite Maya Angelou quote is. Another thing is that in the news lately there's been this movement, Bring Back Our Girls, with women's slavery happening in Africa. So basically this is just sharing content with her on a New York Times article, and then following up the tweets with, is she personally involved in the movement, and has GoldieBlox considered joining? Because GoldieBlox has become very active in the feminist community and have shown that they've gone behind several causes. So again, these are just basically forcing her to answer questions, reach out, and hopefully be able to get her to share some of my content too. And the reason why, I mean, she's basically on everything, but it looks like it's easier to reach out to her on Twitter than it is on Facebook or any of those other media outlets, because she tweets more frequently than she posts on anything else. And then lastly, Mike Downs is our community manager. He's also my boss. He's pretty amusing on Twitter, and I, just knowing him and the type of person that he is, he actually, ironically enough, has more followers than Margot does, who is a community manager for a major company. So I just felt that it would be appropriate for me to be following him as well. So again, engaging him on Twitter because he uses that as his professional outlet, and then engage by sharing content with him and asking questions. One thing is I would definitely, or am still trying to become an influencer in the political community in Connecticut. I do, or did, have my own blog called Branford Elephant Notes, which is just kind of, basically a weekly update of, the political happenings in Branford, and then sometimes also around the state. And then basically what I would hope to get him to do is post more relevant political content and reaching out to other influencers in the community. There's Don Pesci, there's James McGovern, there's tons of influencers in the political community in Connecticut who could probably, really help out his follower standing, as well as grow his clout score, and even just, encouraging engagement with those kinds of influencers is important, because it also shows that, you're reputable as well. So, moving on to my social media post from Mike. Earlier today, it was discovered that Access Health in Connecticut was being hacked. We're not sure if this is a rumor or not yet, but basically just questioning him because he would be the authority on this. He does work for a state office. Is Access Health really being hacked? Earlier this week, we had the unfortunate passing of one of our members, State Representative Miller from Stratford and Trumbull and Shelton. It comes at an awkward time because we have an election coming up in November, so wondering, will a special election be held to fill Rep. Miller's seat? Because then the people will be paying for 2 elections in less than, 6 months apart, which is just crazy to even think about. And then here comes, sharing content. Basically, Joe Visconti, who is a gubernatorial candidate, was formerly on the GOP ticket, is now petitioning his way onto the ballot, I believe, as an independent candidate. And he's seeking signatures right now. So just again sharing that link from the Current. Earlier today on Capitol Report TV, that airs on Fox every Sunday at 10:30, they did a great segment on Representative Larry Miller. So sharing that video with him with the hopes that he'll retweet it. And then again, getting more political is the fact that Malloy is still denying that there is a deficit, even though there is. So another link from the Current. And so I believe that these are all successful ways to engage with community managers. I believe that it's probably a bit easier to come up with tweets and Facebook posts being a community manager using those methods than it is to be kind of a spectator in it, but I do understand and the relevance of the concepts, and I did try to use as many as possible coming from a potential influencer point of view. So that's advanced engagement, and I'll see you next week.